All right, so let's talk about what you can make actually flipping a house. There's a rule when you flip houses that's called the 70% rule, meaning if your final after repair value is, we'll say $1,000,000, then your purchase price should be 70% of that or less, which would be 700,000. Now, the 70% rule, obviously it works and it's a good rule of thumb. Some margins will be smaller and some margins will be bigger. Depends on your experience, depends where you are, depends on the deal, right? So there's so many variables. Using the 70% rule is pretty simple, right? Whatever the house is worth, say it's $1,000,000, you take out 30%, that's you're going to be profit slash work. So your purchase price, you have to be 70% or less. The lower the better. I just did a flip and I bought mine for I think 60%, which that was a score, right? That makes the numbers work better. It's just that if you don't have any experience, 70% is a good gauge. You can obviously make that number a little tighter at 10 or 20%, but that depends on your comfort level. Now, home flips that were flipped in 2021, on average, the profit was $65,000 nationwide. Generally speaking, some investors make as much as $100,000 on a deal or $250,000 on a deal just flipping a house, right? In our market, we have luxury, so you could make $400,000 on a deal, right? And even more. Just depends on where you're doing it and what you're doing. But the national average for all flippers that are flipping a house is typically $30,000.
Here you go, boss.
Thank you for my coffee. Let me take a sip. All right, so typically it's $30,000. Now, how much profit should you expect to make on a flip? On average, I think 10 to 20% is a good, safe number. You don't want to set yourself up for failure. So 10% on the lower end would be great. I wouldn't really want to do a flip for much less than that. 20% on average would be amazing if you could just get 20% all the time. And on mine, I believe we got 40%. And I think there's a lot of people that could do a lot of business. But at the end of the day, if you're going to do flips and you want to do a good job doing them, I think make your numbers safer. And when you're thinking about what you want to sell the property for, drop that number a little bit so you play in the safe game. Because the biggest thing in flipping real estate that I realize is you don't want to risk the money and you don't want to risk losing it all, which I've seen happen to people. And so if you have a good flip, you have a good piece of real estate that you're interested in selling or renovating and you want to run the numbers, you know who to call.